from around the globe. Hot, fresh, balanced, and objective.
Hello and welcome to Unity News Hour. The headlines. Group appeal for the stoppage of the bid to relocate intended National Orthopedic Hospital from Jos to Bariki Ladi. President Muhammadu Buhari commiserates with the government and people of Kebbi State over both mishap. Peace Group withdrew its support for Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi over his refusal to condemn the activities of IPOB. And on the foreign scene, Germany to send Ukraine 40 armored vehicles by spring. And in sports, March fixtures of the 20 Premier League that will complete in the FA Cup this weekend. Those were the headlines, and for details and more of the stories, I am Rukayat Sani Ibrahim. A group which identified itself as PLATEAU Equity Forum has appealed for the stoppage of the bid to relocate the intended National Orthopedic Hospital from Jos to Bariki Ladi in an advertorial signed by some key stakeholders from Jos, including the former Minister of Information and Communication, Alhaji Ibrahim Dasuki Salu Nakande, who is also the chairman of the forum. The group noted that their committee is indeed aggrieved by the statement of the Chief Medical Director of Jos University Teaching Hospital, Jude, Dr. Dakob, but that the proposed orthopedic hospital built to be sited in Jos will be built in Bariki Ladi. The group also said if the plan of the CMD is allowed, it is tantamount to a direct violation of the law establishing the institution. It added that the action may endanger and cause a serious sabotage to the success of the APC in Plateau State in 2023, noting that it is unfortunate that while the governor of the state is claiming to be with the APC, he is indirectly fighting the party, like he did during the rerun election for Jos North Bassa Federal Constituency seat. The group therefore requests that the status quo be upheld and the hospital should maintain its statutory location in Jos per the National Assembly Law of 24th July 2022 as assented to by Mr. President. The advertorial, which was published in Daily Trust newspaper, was also copied to the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Senate President, the Speaker, Federal House of Representatives, the Governor of Plateau State, the member representing Jos North Bassa Federal Constituency, the member representing Jos North Plateau State House of Assembly, and the member for Jos North West Plateau State House of Assembly, apart from Alhaji Ibrahim Dasuki Salu Nakande, who is the chairman of the Equity Forum. Others who signed the advertorial are Alhaji Baba Akau, Dr. Ibrahim Idris Zakaria, Alhaji Dalladi Abdullahi, Alhaji Tijjani Abdullahi, and Malam Yakubu Al-Maliki Al-Jasawi, among others. President Muhammadu Buhari on Friday commiserated with the government and people of Kebbi State over the loss of many lives following the capsizing of a boat conveying farmers. Buhari's condolence message, is contained in a statement signed by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, titled President Buhari mourns both mishap victims in Kebbi State. It was reported that more than 20 farmers were feared dead on Tuesday after a boat carrying about 100 farmers capsized in the Koko Basse local government area of Kebbi State. The chairman of the Koko Basse local government area, Yahaya Bello, confirmed that the accident happened on Tuesday night when a rickety boat carried more than 100 rice farmers to Samanji, a riverine community in the area. He noted that 80 of the boat passengers were rescued, while 10 were feared dead and others still missing. At the time of the report, reacting to the development, the president condoled with the families who lost their loved ones in the accident, urging more prayers for the rescued persons that are still undergoing medical examination and treatment. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the establishment of a world-class transformer production plant in Nigeria in collaboration with China Great Wall Industry Corporation, CGWIC, of China. The Executive Vice Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, Professor Muhammad Sani Haruna, disclosed this on Friday to State House correspondents after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa, Abuja. According to him, the president had directed that the project be fast-tracked to accelerate stable power supply in the country. He noted that the project for the establishment of a transformer manufacturing plant in the country was delayed by the COVID-19 pandemic in China. According to him, the president was anxious to see the output of the product, its impact on the availability of power, because power supply will never be stable until the country produces some competent locally, including transformer. He said the plant, when established, will produce between 6.5 and 10 megawatt transformers of all sizes and different capacity to meet local demands and Nigerian standards. A group of Niger Delta militants known as the Iso bombers have suspended its planned attack on oil and gas pipelines in Ohobo and Isoko communities in the Delta state, led by Titus Deadman. The group had opposed the pipeline security surveillance contract of OML-30 and OML-34, which were awarded by Zane Energy, owned by Jimmy Omo Agege, a younger brother to the Delta Senator Ove Omo Agege. The group have given the federal government a 7-day to hand over the contract to the mayor of Ohobo land, Eshanekpe Israel, aka Ekpodoro, who they said was entitled to it, but in a statement by Deadman on Friday, he said the group had decided to embrace negotiation and suspend its planned attack due to the intervention of the interim coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, General Barry Ndiamo retired, the Riverine Peace Initiative in the Niger Delta, and the Ohobo Progressive Union. The National Peace Movement has withdrawn its support for Labour Party LP presidential candidate Peter Obi over his refusal to condemn the activities of the separatist group, the outlawed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB in the southeast region of the country. The movement also urged other Nigerian youth group to reject candidates with pro-separatist ideology. The LP presidential candidate failed to publicly condemn the separatist group IPOB and its military unit, Eastern Security Network ESN, despite their actions. The National Peace Movement, in a statement issued in Lagos by its national coordinator, Reverend Arome Johnson, called on Nigerian youths to stop further mobilization for the Labour Party flag bearer. The movement also alleged that IPOB and ESN were also harming citizens that they perceive as opposed to their anticipated forceful takeover of government at the federal level in pursuit of the realization of a Biafra Republic. The movement tendered an unreserved apology to Nigerians, especially to families that have been bereaved or impacted by IPOB ESN criminality in recent months, for supporting Obi's presidential bid in the last few months. The movement advised the Nigerian youth to stop further mobilization for Peter Obi, as he has persistently failed to condemn IPOB activities. With about 49 days to the 2023 general election, a coalition of human rights organizations on Friday expressed fears about the reports of missing permanent voter cards and difficulties in locating them. They also raised concern over the voter education carried out by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, which they said was inadequate, while advising the commission to ensure free and fair election. The organization said voter education was non-existent in some other places, leaving the voters vulnerable to manipulation by some unscrupulous politicians who tend to take advantage of the situation. The CSOs also warned the judiciary against the reckless granting of court orders, injunctions, and judgments. The organization expressed the views during a press conference by the focal person of the Coalition of Nigeria Youths Group, Maximilian Tashlani, conveners of Coalition of Civil Society for Good Governance, Okpanachi Jacob, and chairman of Arewa Transformational Leaders, Yusuf Ibrahim. Tashlani said it had become imperative to pause and take stock of which and take stock of where we are coming from and where we intend to go as a nation. According to him, the 2023 general election was more than a deciding moment for the country, adding that all well-meaning Nigerians must come together to uphold the unity, sanctity and integrity of the nation by ensuring free, fair and credible elections. The National Association of Nigerian Student (NANS) has threatened to embark on a mass protest over what it called outrageous hike in school fees by the universities for both new and returning students. The National Vice President of the association, Comrade Suleiman Sarki, stated this at a media briefing on Friday in Maiduguri, Borno State. Comrade Sarki said that hike will particularly have a negative impact on students from the Northeast region who have been severely affected by 13 years of insurgency. He said NANS have issued a weak ultimatum to the management of University of Maiduguri UNIMATE to rescind its decision or face a massive protest across the country. Comrade Serki said that the University of Maiduguri have increased its registration fee by 200%, expressing concern that the outrageous fee could result in a mass dropout of students. The NANS Vice President urged students not to pay the new registration charges but to await the outcome of NANS Strategic Action Plan as the association had commenced consultation with management of the University of Maiduguri. He called on stakeholders in the education sector across the country to intervene by prevailing on the governing councils of federal universities to rescind their decision. And on the foreign scene, Germany will supply Ukraine with around 40 mother infantry fighting vehicles within weeks as part of a new phase of support coordinated with the U.S. government. A spokesman said on Friday, U.S. President Joe Biden and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz announced on Thursday that both their countries will send powerful armed infantry fighting vehicles to help Ukraine repel Russia's invasion. The United States will supply Bradleys, which usually come armored with 25mm Howitzer cannon, a 7.62 mm machine gun and anti-tank missiles, while Germany will send Marders, they said. Germany government spokesman Stefan Haberstedt on Friday said around 40 Marders will be sent, or enough to equip a battalion. Ukraine has long pushed for heavier weaponry, including tanks that will allow it to go on the offensive. Western nations have been reluctant to send them, citing fears of becoming drawn into the war or provoking Russia, but the Ukrainians have built momentum and Western nations have been expanding the range of weaponry being provided. The US-German announcement came a day after France promised to deliver AMX-10 RC light tanks, a vehicle that is wheeled rather than tracked, but which shares the much heavier cannon typical on a tank. Germany also said it will follow the United States in sending a state-of-the-art Patriot missile air defense system to Ukraine. And in sports, 20 teams of the Premier League will compete in the FA Cup this weekend with two cup favourites, Chelsea and Manchester City, handling at the third-round fixtures. Chelsea have had a bitter-sweet experience in the FA Cup in recent time, having lost the last three FA Cup finals, and will be looking at mounting a rather successful challenge for the prestigious title this campaign. The Blues come off the back of a defeat to the same Man City in the Premier League on Thursday. Will have revenge in their mind when they travel to the Etihad Stadium on Sunday, even though Potter is left to hang on to a depleted squad plagued by injuries to key players. The tie is one of several All-Premier League ties, with Manchester United will host Everton, Southampton go to Crystal Palace, Wolves are away to Liverpool, and Brentford welcome West Ham United. Fixtures to Friday, Manchester United 3, Everton 1, and for Saturday, Tottenham versus Portsmouth, Gillingham versus Leicester City, Crystal Palace versus Southampton, Bournemouth versus Burnley, Blackpool versus Nottingham, Forest Brentford versus West Hamsfield, Wednesday versus Wednesday versus Newcastle, Liverpool versus Wolves. On Sunday, Man City will tie it down with Chelsea. And on Monday, Oxford United will play against Arsenal. With this story, we come to the end of our bulletin for today. You can follow us on our social media handles at Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Unity Radio FM TV, respectively. I am Ruqayyat Sani Ibrahim. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our programs.
Unity.